Hello. Today, I want to attempt to explain something that I had kind of figured out about 2 years ago and I have never explained to anybody. And I think it's useful. So, what it is that in 2009, I learned how to tell tarot cards. I started learning. And then in 2019, I pretty much switched over completely to using tarot, like doing tarot with a regular playing card deck. And if you don't know, the playing card deck is reflective of the minor arcana in tarot. So tarot is split into two different parts. The major arcana has 22 cards, and then the minor arcana has 4 suits that each have 10 cards and court cards, just like a playing card deck. The only difference is in a playing card deck, there's only a jack, where in a tarot card deck, there's usually a knight and a page, as well as the king and queen. So, in 2019, I started pretty much only reading with the minor arcana, but it occurred to me, wouldn't it be neat if I could somehow assign the major arcana cards to minor arcana cards so that some of the cards would just have 2 meanings, but you'd still be able to read and be like, oh, this card is still coming up in some fashion. And so I wanted to transpose it essentially on there. But I wanted to do it in a way that would like make sense and be memorable and be reflective of the actual cards, like in a nice way where they would overlap in a beautiful kind of like harmonious way. So I didn't want to just so randomly do it or like do it sequentially. So what I realized was if you take the court cards in a playing card deck, so that's the king, queen, and jack, and the aces, so that's 4 aces, and 3 times, anyway, it comes out, if you do the aces, the court cards, and the jokers, it comes out to 22. If the caveat is you have to use the jack to be both the knight and the page, because you need a knight and a page. Because it's like there's 4 court cards per suit, and there's 4 suits, so 16, and then 4 more aces is 20, and then 2 jokers is 22. So that's how I decided I was going to do it. I was going to use those cards and figure out which ones go in which place. And I started doing that. I started trying to figure out, and I did many different ways, really. I moved them all around and I tried my best to figure it out. Now, one of the things that helped me figure it out in the end was I made, on Spotify, I was playing around with making a Arcana playlist. And I really like my Arcana playlist. It totally was what broke the code for me on this process. And I think it came out really good. And it's some of my favorite songs ever. So if you want to see it, in the show notes, I'll put my Spotify name, and you could, all my playlists are public. So I think it's just labeled Arcana Mix 1 through 0. And that means that it starts, the first song is the Magician, not the Fool. Because I wanted you to be able to count the tracks and have it make sense. So you could count which track it is and figure out which, it's in order of the major arcana. So it's a 22 track playlist that has a song for each card, and it's in order. It goes from magician, and then it goes down to the world, and then the fool is the last track. So I'm going to start explaining it. That's kind of the what it is that I'm going to be doing. But I'm going to switch to desk view, and I'm going to do some writing and have some pictures and show you the cards, so you'll have a visual representation, some visual cues while I explain it. Okay, so here's my Spotify name. So, the first thing that I want to show you is this that I made in another video already. You can look that video up. I'll put that in the show notes. This is me labeling this concept of the suits being laid out in this order because of the world card. This is actually the original world card design, and you can see these. It's an angel, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. They represent all of these things in this orientation. And so this is kind of already a link between the major and the minor arcana, is the world card, because the world card is a major arcana card that represents the minor arcana on it. And so this has been really important for me, this orientation of spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs being in this orientation, because you have the active suits on the right, which is the active side. And so it corresponds with all of these different things. So this is like the sending side, and this is like the receiving side. So that's important for understanding. Also, because I was trying to do something that had to do with suits, because the minor arcana, it has to do with suits a lot. It's mostly what it has to do with. This orientation is important. So it's like this. So here I've already written out the major arcana cards, and I actually have them here. So I would just show them to you, so if you're not familiar with the cards, you can at least see, or if you are familiar, I think it would be in either case useful to see them together. So we'll start with the magician. So the magician, oh, I wonder if I should explain this first. So what helped me figure out in the end, like, I had already placed most of the cards pretty securely in where I thought they should be. But then I realized that if I did them in this particular pattern, it would fit into the chakra system, which I really liked too, to like bring it into transposing onto another modality. So how this works is if you take the major arcana and you start at the beginning, and you do 4 cards going counterclockwise in that same orientation of the world card of the suits. So if you just imagine that this is transposed onto each of these, so this would be the root chakra, this is the sacral chakra, and so on. It would go magician, priestess, empress, emperor, and then it goes hierophant, lovers, chariot, strength. Then for the solar, the fool is there alone, because the fool is like a 0, and the 0 can kind of move throughout the, I've heard that before, that it can like move throughout the whole arcana because it's a 0. And then here 6, 7, 8, and then the hermit, and then the wheel, and then the justice, and then the hanged man. So you can see, so each of these is like, so this is a spade. Okay, so we'll get back to that. And so then 12, 13, so this is death, and then temperance, and the devil, and the tower, and then the third eye is just the star. And then we go to the moon and the sun and just judgment, and then the world. Okay, so that's the order of it. And then if you just transpose this suit system, it goes, the suits follow this pattern. So the suits are always in the right quadrant. And then these two are the jokers, because the jokers don't have a suit. Okay, so I'll just show you. This is, so I'll write it. The King of Spades. So then what you do is you do king, queen, queen, king. Okay. Then here is the knights or the jacks. I don't know what I should label, knight or jack. I'll do knight just to be really specific, because, so these are all the knights. And then this is a joker. And then the heart is all of the pages. And then the throat, it gets transposed from here, where the queens are now on this side and the kings are on this side. And then this is the other joker. This is the black and white joker, and this is the rainbow joker. So then up here it's all the aces for the crown. Okay, so that's how you do it. And so it goes, the magician is the king of spades, and then the priestess is the Queen of Hearts. Then the Empress is the Queen of Diamonds. Then the Emperor is the King of Clubs. Then the Hierophant is the Jack of Spades. I'll say Knight. And then the Lovers is the Jack of Hearts. You're seeing how this like really lines up already, like really well. And then the Knight of Diamonds is the Chariot. And then Strength is the Jack of Clubs. And then, so then, this is the Fool here. I think I've lost the Fool now. The Fool. The Jacks, I mean, Jokers have a colored in one and a black and white one. And so the colored in one is the Fool. Let's see, colored. All right. Then we've got the Hermit is the Jack of Spades again, and then that. So the jacks have to share 2 cards. One, that one. And those are the pages. Okay. Then got Death is the Queen of Spades. I like that that came out that way. Queen of Spades. Okay. Then Temperance is the King of Hearts. Then the Devil is the King of Diamonds. Then the Tower is the Queen of Clubs. Then so then it goes to the Star, and that's the other Joker. Then the Ace of Spades is the Moon. Then the Ace of Hearts is the Sun. And the Ace of Diamonds is Judgment. And then the World is the Ace of Clubs. So that's how it works out. And it just, it's very methodical, but I actually picked most of these individually, just like, you know, I noticed the pattern that all of the pages were in the same place, and I was like, that's really weird. And then I started I don't even know how I came to this, but I like eventually came to this being like a regimented, like, reasoning way of describing why this makes sense to be in this orientation. But I mean, I would say if you know tarot at all, and you know about like the court cards and what the court cards mean, and you know what the major arcana means, I think this is a pretty good matchup for like many reasons. So I don't know if I could go through each one and like I could describe to you why. But I mean, the concept of suits is really that they correspond. I'll show you this elements thing again. But they correspond with the elements. And so like the priestess being the queen of hearts, like fits with like the priestess fits with the hearts suit. It's kind of a like profound thing, I think, to bring together the major and the minor arcana, and like assign the major arcana suits, because it's not usually done. So that's what has essentially happened here, is that I've assigned the major arcana suits and also court cards identities. So I'm pretty happy with how it goes. Please use this if this is useful to you. I just feel like it's so useful to be able to transfer any playing card deck into a like tarot deck that has all of the cards in it. Because I actually found it to be worth it to read tarot with just the minor arcana for quite a while, but to have this has helped my reading so much. And I just wanted to explain it as fully as I could in case anyone wanted to know about it. Okay, so thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, definitely leave comments, and I'll try to answer anything that I can. And I appreciate you watching this video. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.